This is it, folks. Almost at the end now, just another 15 minutes or so to go. Almost done it. Almost completed a full-length commentary. Jeez, it took me a long time to do this. Like, I am so busy in my padded cell that I just don't really get time to do these things anymore, but I want to see it through to the end. Now you shall see the evil spirit that matches my evil face. I love the dialogue in this section, and Chaney's hand acting and pointing. No longer like a toad in these foul cellars will I secrete the venom of hatred, for you shall bring me love. Awesome. Love it. I don't know who wrote these title cards, but they're pretty good. And here we go, the Persian and Raoul holding their hands at the level of the eyes. Yeah, that turns out to be useful, doesn't it? Particularly when you just like totally walk over a trapdoor. You're standing on the Sarlacc pit. Ouch! And here we have the torture chamber, the room of mirrors that heats up and fries its occupants. And I can't believe that that no other film versions have really utilised this, because it's such a great idea. I mean, you know, the mirrors that creates a whole artificial forest, and you know that you can heat the glass and roast people alive, and it sends them crazy. But they've got the option of ending it all with the hangman's noose. I mean, that's a brilliant idea, so I don't know why it hasn't been used in more, particularly like the more horrific versions, but it's crazy. The only other version, apart from this, that has the torture chamber in, that I'm aware of, is the cartoon version, of all things, and the freaking 2004 movie, or it's at least referenced when Raoul drops through the masquerade floor and sees the hexagonal mirror. Doesn't really have the torture room sequence in, but yeah, so that's a shame, because that could have been used effectively as a dramatic finale for pretty much any version. Now apparently this bit here where Chaney goes into the water, it is actually Chaney, it's not a stuntman, and he had special makeup that was waterproof so it doesn't wash it all away, because obviously, you know, he's covered in paint and all sorts of things. I love that alarm. I want one from my house. If I had a house, that is. Fortunately, I'm still detained in this mental institution for the psychologically interesting. It means I can't post on YouTube as often as I'd like, but, you know, it is what it is. That lake's lovely and black, isn't it? Sorry, I'm adding the sound effects. Have any of you ever seen the Angel of Music edition, where they added sound effects and like really bad dialogue, voiceovers? I review it on my channel if you want to check that out. I think my sound effects are better. I need to do some music as well. Ah, splash. That's a scary looking bald cap as well, isn't it? Yes, so yeah, Raoul and Persian trapped in the torture chamber, and this is another scene that's really kind of badly directed, because in theory you should, you know, when it all gets heated up and everything, you should be able to see all the multiple reflections. You know, you should get a sense of the disorientation and all that, and how big the forest is. And I forget where I read it, but originally this was meant to be much more elaborate. Like they had like a hallucination scene where when their brains are being Kentucky fried, they start seeing things. They see a lion, because it's meant to be an African jungle after all, I think. So yeah, there's like a real lion, or well, they have a vision of a lion, a real lion. I don't know whether that was actually filmed or if it was filmed and it got cut. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Maybe I should have checked up on my facts before doing the commentary. But like I said at the outset, you know, this is going to be full of hearsay and rumour and things I might have read or that I might have dreamt. I love this bit here. I love the posture and the line. The callers have departed, I think is what it says. The callers have departed. Nice. I love how sarcastic and just awesome this Phantom is. It's been such a long time since I've watched this movie in full. I forget just how great this Phantom is. I mean, he really is the definitive Phantom. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. I've got to provide the music. Oh, here we go. Here's the mob. I've discovered the Phantom's hiding place. Tonight my brother will be avenged. Oh, this is Simon Bouquet, isn't it? Joseph Bouquet's brother. Now, I'm not entirely sure. I think this whole mob chase was in the original version, but it was... I think what happened is they come down after Eric has let Christine go and had his redemptive kiss. I think originally, because there are photos and stills of this, he dies of a broken heart. You know, after the unmasking, he's sort of like clutching his heart, and you know he's got it sets up that he's got some kind of heart condition, and the strain of everything just makes him die of a broken heart, rather like in the novel. And then the mob come in and find him dead at the organ. Then I think there was a change to it where the Persian shoots him. Like it was more or less the same, but like I guess the Persian was putting him out of his misery or whatever. But audiences didn't like that, and they wanted him to have his comeuppance, basically, not to be redeemed by Christine's kiss, but to be hacked to pieces by an angry mob. So that's what happened. That's why you've got this hacked on sequence. Yeah, so this bit could have been really good, couldn't it? Like, it's just shot from a flat angle, and it's not making use of the design of the room and all the multiple Persians and Rals that you could see and all that kind of stuff. You don't get a sense of the claustrophobia or the heat. I think some versions have this tinted yellow to make it a little bit more hot looking. But yeah, I suppose there's a little bit of smoke in the foreground there. I mean, Christine doesn't look too disturbed by this, and now she is. So yeah, this sequence isn't very well edited. Not saying that I could do better, but I could do better. Really, I could. And yeah, like this is the only bit where you get the confusion. I quite like that shot. That's the classic pose there, isn't it? That's on the front of many DVD covers. Yeah, I just wish they'd made more of that bit. Eric, he's such I don't know what word to use, what the polite word is, but he's just a swine, isn't he? Like, I love that bit when he was like clasping his hands over his head and like, you will marry me because I'm forcing you? Yay! Go me! I'm so smart. I think he's going to do it again. I like this bit as well when she like just had a look at his face and he's laughing his head off. It reminds me a little bit of the scene in Jekyll and Hyde, the Frederick March one. Very similar. Ah, what you see, Persian? A hole. I see a hole. Actually, the Persian wouldn't talk like that, would he? I'm not sure how Persians talk. I don't want to do yet another racist accent. I mean, why did he put a little easily escapable hole nail in his torture chamber? Bit of a design flaw. Here they find Eric's wine cellar, but it's not wine, it is gunpowder. And this is all like super faithful to the book. This all happens in the book. Gunpowder. Not a good vintage. Any barrels to sell? Now that's a line out of the book as well. Now that line doesn't appear in the 1929 version, at least I don't think it does. Trapped. Come on, mob, get a move on. Track down this murderer. I like that he's just sort of playing the keyboard for a bit, the organ like now I'm gonna rage. Yeah, it's a bit of an over-the-top performance, but what are you going to do? It's awesome. I love it. I really do. Look at his eyes. Oh, look at that awesome finger wag. You know, I have never, in all my time watching this, never noticed that amazing finger wag. I think I need to incorporate that into my conversations when I'm displeased with something. Aha, scorpion and the grasshopper. Turn the scorpion, you've said yes. And the other one, the opera house is blown to 1,000 pieces. Kaboom! Yes. Eric, the original suicide bomber here. We're just going to go charging into the opera cellar with torches alit in a room full of gunpowder. What could possibly go wrong? Now here's another. This is another classic image that's used to advertise the film throughout. Or some lighting on it. It's just cool, isn't it? I think that's the best the makeup ever looks in the whole film. The set is amazing, isn't it? Like, to think these are all practical sets. Wouldn't it be cool to like go back in time and see this being filmed, but like with your own eyes and in colour? Wouldn't that look cool? Don't. I mean, that would mean you have to invent a time machine. No one's got around to doing just yet. But if I had a time machine, that's what I would do. I'd go back in time and watch movies like this get made, and I would probably stop Julian Sands being born, and Joel Schumacher, and Dario Argento, and well, lots of people. But this is not the time and place for me to list the people I would murder while they were still sperm. Here to have interesting commentary on this classic movie, but I don't know what else to say about this. I mean, it's like they let it's confusing. He lets them go, and then he's like, but no, I'm going to steal Christine now. I don't know if it's this bit that like tips him over the edge. Like, I guess maybe he thought that they were going to be married, and then he's like, oh, what? She doesn't love me? Shocker. Ah, go to sleep, baby Raoul. Dong, dong, dong. Your clanger's going, Eric. So yeah, here we have the tacked-on ending that was shot by a different director, Edward Sedgwick, I want to say. Might be butchering the name, and he was like an action movie director. Yeah, so let's watch that. Oh, Roll, like, come on, you're meant to be a man of action. Like, could you not just get up? There's a shot here. I don't know why I love it. I just love the expression on the Persian's face. I don't know if it's meant to be comical, but it's like Raoul sort of calls him to like continue the adventure, and he just looks like, huh? Saying that it probably won't be in this version now, just to. Persian. Yeah. He got like a little grin and kind of almost breaking the fourth wall, like, do I have to? Don't know, it makes me smile. But I'm a sinister kind of soul who finds amusement in odd things, as you may have noticed. Now this chase scene is crazy fast. Like they undercrank the camera, I guess, to give it a bit more kinetic energy. I mean, it's probably the most exciting part of the film. Like, you can tell it's a different director. I don't even know if Chaney directed some of this bit, to be honest. But yeah, as we go, you'll probably notice some different camera angles, and not everything's just shot from a flat perspective. But yeah, like these are like supercharged mobs. Whee! Kind of the same thing happens in Song at Midnight. It's like super fast. I think the makeup looks a bit more Halloween masky here. I think because these were sort of added on the end. I wonder if maybe they just didn't bother as much. Damn, as well. Like, did you see how fast Christine was thrown from that carriage? Like, she would be scraped all over the pavement. And I think coming up we have a shot of the Notre Dame Cathedral set from the 1923 version, which Chaney was also in as Quasimodo. They hadn't ripped it down yet. Yeah, there it is. Like, that is a damn good set. Like, that looks. I've been to the one in France, and that one's looks like it. I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, waste not, want not. Like, they used to keep sets, and then they could reuse them in other films. Not like today, where they just like rip all that classic stuff down and then just use CGI instead. Now this bit apparently, now I've read this somewhere, and like, can someone tell me if I'm wrong or whatever, but I read that this bit here, Eric was supposed to have like Christine's handkerchief in his hand, his snotty handkerchief, I guess, and you know, when he opened it up it was supposed to just flutter out to the wind, but apparently like either someone screwed up and they didn't have the prop on the day and they shot it, or they filmed a rehearsal sequence, you know, and then but that somehow ended up in the main film. That seems too specific for me to have dreamt or imagined that. So can someone like tell me in the comments, like, is that a real thing, or am I just talking nonsense? I might be talking nonsense. This here also was tacked on the end, this little happy ending. I believe this was from the earlier scenes at Viraflay, is that what it's called? That would have come before the Perros graveyard sequence. So they just used some outtakes from that and stuck it on the end and said, they all lived happily ever after. Finis. They missed the H off the end, by the way. Spelling error. So that was the classic 1925 Phantom of the Opera, and that was my commentary. I really sincerely apologise if you expected this to be good or informative. I hope you found it somewhat funny. And yeah, that's it. I would love to do more commentaries. The biggest problem is that YouTube take everything down. I'm so annoyed by this. Like, I know I don't put stuff out very often, but not too long ago I spent ages making my Man Who Laughs, Grinning Man special feature, and you know, put all that work in there, and it's just been took down, and I've been trying to get it back up. I've been trying it at different speeds, I've been doing all sorts, and just it keeps getting took down. So it's very frustrating, you know, when you try and make new content and it just gets took down for copyright reasons. So like most of the films that I could conceivably do a commentary on, like if I put them up, YouTube would just take them down. I might have a look at Song at Midnight. I might do, because it's been ages since I've watched that, and I believe that's in the public domain. So would anyone like to see me sit through Song at Midnight and try and make sense of the subtitles? Would you get some kind of perverse pleasure out of that? Comment below. That's all from me. I'd like to give a shout out to my Patreons, or my one Patreon at the moment, because everyone else abandoned me. So a big shout out to Kevin Von Spur, or Bone Spur, or whatever you want to call him. If you do want to support me on Patreon, don't know why you would, nobody else does, apart from good old Kev. It's patreon.com/Phantom Reviews. You can get the reviews up early, and sometimes you can get special videos that no one else can see. And occasionally I even do like requests, and I will commentate on pretty much whatever you want. So yeah, if that's something you like, hop along to my Patreon page. Thank you for sitting through and watching this nonsense with me. And when I say this nonsense, I don't mean the movie. You know, the movie's pretty good, but you know, this commentary is, let's face it, is me talking in a padded room to myself and hoping that somebody cares. So if you care, give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a Patreon, and I'll see you later, alligator. Bye for now.